Hi, this is Stephanie Jeffries of Renew Perspective Coaching, and welcome to Healing with SJ. Today we're going to talk about healing beyond molestation. Molestation is something that comes in our life when we're young, and it takes over. It takes over emotionally, it takes over mentally, it takes over physically. And the reason why it takes over is it comes from people that we've trusted. It comes from people who are in our inner circle. It comes from people that maybe our parents have trusted or our guardians have trusted. And what molestation does is it robs us a little bit of a childhood. It robs us of our innocence. It introduces us to a world of sex that we're not ready for. And not everybody that is molested is impacted the same way. So as a child, for me, molestation made me very quiet. It made me very closed off. And a lot of people didn't notice that because my mom wasn't around. So they probably attributed it to the fact that my mom wasn't around. But it was actually because I had been molested. It was actually because I felt like I had been used and I didn't understand it. And the sad part is that it came from people that I trusted. The men that my mom brought around as a young girl who didn't have a father, the men that my mom brought around, I just wanted a dad, right? I just wanted someone that I could call daddy. I just wanted someone that would love me and protect me and shelter me and provide for me and love me and make me feel safe and secure. And I got the exact opposite. I got the exact opposite more times than I could count. And what that did for me is it made me feel like, okay, well, sex is the way that you get people to like you. Sex is what it's going to take. And that was so uncomfortable for me because that's not who I wanted to be. That's not who I desired to be. And so I'm sure that I'm not the only one that has struggled in that, where molestation is taking a lot from you. And so a lot of people ask me, like, how do you deal with molestation as a child? You attempt to be honest with your guardians. You attempt to be honest with your parents. You attempt to be honest with someone that you can trust. Now, I will be very honest with you. I had the conversation about my molestation with my mother one time, and my mother told me that I was lying. Because at that time, my mom was a cocaine addict. So my mom has since passed away. I have forgiven my mom. And the reason why I was able to forgive her, because when you're on drugs, you don't want to address the things that you know that you should have caught. You don't want to address those things that you felt like you should have had control over. You don't want to admit to yourself that you should have protected your child. And honestly, I don't think that she knew how. I honestly don't think that she knew how. That doesn't excuse her behavior. That doesn't excuse her not protecting me. But I truly believe that in me forgiving her, I realized that she just didn't know what to do or how to do it. And molestation impacts people differently. So there are some people that were molested when they were younger and now they're on drugs, or they've become strippers, or they're very promiscuous, or they have it has impacted them in a very negative manner. And then there's some people that have been molested as kids. And listen, you're holding on to it because you're trying to protect everybody around you. And what you're doing is that you are actually destroying yourself on the inside. I know you don't want to ruin your family. I know you don't want to, put people on the carpet. I know you don't want to be the blame. Let me say this. If you were ever molested in your life, you are not to blame. It was not your fault. There was nothing that you did to cause it. There was nothing that you said or you implied that would make someone feel like that is what you wanted to do. That is somebody that has a sickness that took advantage of a situation that they should not have taken advantage of. And the truth of the matter is they are dead wrong. Molestation also affects your adult relationships, right? So for me in relationships, I was very, I wouldn't say very needy, but I remember I was married to my first husband, and he said to me, he said, "You need too much attention." And I didn't know what that meant, because all I wanted to do was feel loved, feel cared for, or feel valued and safe. And I knew that, like, only way I knew to do that was being clingy, to a certain degree. But it's very interesting, because we had a conversation actually not too long ago, and the one thing that he said to me, he says, actually, you didn't need too much attention. I should have figured out how to give you attention. Because when you're coming from a situation where you don't want to have to give someone your body to make them love you and to make them care for you, then you just want them to give you attention naturally. And sometimes you go about it in the wrong way. I think that I was trying to do like I've did in my entire life, is like convince him that I'm good enough. And the truth of the matter is, I was always good enough to be loved just as I was. I was always good enough to be cared for. I was always good enough to be protected. I was always good enough to feel safe, you know. And that is one of the things that people that have been molested, they look for. They do put a wall up. Like, I had a wall up for a very long time, but I realized that was a wall to protect me, to protect me in ways that I had not been protected before in my life, in ways that I felt like I needed to be protected. And the one thing that helped me a great deal is that I got into therapy. Everybody is not going to go to therapy, because I grew up in an era where what happens in this house stays in this house. We keep secrets. You know, you talk about, we keep secrets. And that is very sad, because there are a lot of people now that are adults that were molested in their childhood, and they're aching and they're hurting and they're broken, and they feel abused because their families chose the abuser over them, or they never got the help that they needed. And they find themselves going from relationship to relationship to relationship, or situation to situation to situation. And the only reason that you're doing that is because there's a child inside of you that has been hurt, that doesn't feel protected, that doesn't feel loved, that doesn't feel cared for. And that actually bleeds over into your adult life. Therapy was the best thing that happened to me. Therapy allowed me to seek forgiveness. Seek forgiveness for myself, understanding that there was nothing that I did to deserve it. And also, it allowed me, when I was ready, to extend forgiveness to the people that had molested me. And one of the ways that I was able to do that, in two ways. I was able to do that with the guys that my mom brought around that I don't know, never knew, will never know. I was actually able to write them a letter telling them how it impacted me and that I forgave them, and I burnt the letters. I never reread the letters. I burnt the letters. And there was one individual who I loved with my entire heart. I trusted with my entire life, that molested me. And I actually wrote him a letter when I was 25 years old. And the response that I got back was the sweetest response and the most sincere and authentic response I had ever gotten in my life. And the response was that they had struggled with that their entire lives, that they were so sorry that they ever did that. We were both young, and they knew that they should have protected me. They knew that they should have taken better care of me. And when that happened, I was able to release it. Not everybody is going to get that. I'm not saying that not everybody is going to get that, because there are some people now that even if you try to confront them, they're going to pretend like they have no idea what you're talking about. They're going to act like you crazy. They're going to say that they never did it to you. They're going to say that you made it up, when the truth of the matter is you didn't make it up. But one thing that you are responsible for is not allowing it to impact the rest of your lives. So where do you start? You start by journaling about it. You start by finding somebody that you can confide in. It doesn't have to be someone of the opposite sex. It could be someone of the same sex. Finding someone that you can confide in to talk about it, that is able to be present with you as a family. For someone that's watching this and you have a family member that has been molested, or you yourself have been molested, and you want to figure out how to talk about it with your family. If you are a family member and you're listening to this, what I need you to do is I just need you to listen. I don't need you to pass judgment. I don't need you to do anything. I just need you to listen and be present. Because if someone is coming to you telling you that they've been molested, they've been carrying it around for a very long time. They are feeling they're feeling like they're not enough. They're feeling dirty. They're feeling like it was something that they did to deserve it, when in reality, that is not what happened. They didn't deserve it. So they just need you to listen. They just need you to understand that, yeah, it may have been 15 years ago. It may have been 20 years ago. It may have been 30 years ago. It may have been forever ago, but it is still something that impacts them, because the child inside of them is still battling. When you've been molested as a child and you go throughout your life pretending that you're okay, you feel like you're in the middle of the room screaming at the top of your lungs and nobody hears you. And nobody deserves to walk around the rest of their life like that. So now I want to address the person that has been molested. You are enough. It was nothing that you did to deserve it. I want you to practice forgiving yourself. It is not something that happens overnight. It is not something that will happen in a day, but I want you to start forgiving yourself, and I want you to have compassion for yourself. I want you to know that you did deserve to be protected. You did deserve to be loved. You did deserve to be cared for. You did deserve to be treated with respect. You did deserve to be secure and loved and whole. You did deserve that. You didn't deserve to have this impact your childhood in ways that you've never imagined that it would. And if you are in a relationship right now, everybody's not going to understand what it is to date somebody that, or be married to somebody that's been molested, because sometimes we take a little bit more caring. It takes a little bit, we need a little bit more gentleness. We need a little bit more things. And that is not all the time. But I promise you, if you just begin to forgive yourself and you just begin to deal with the situation for yourself head on, then you will begin to release it so that you're not carrying it. And then you're open to love. Like, you're open to really experiencing love. You're open to really giving love. You're open to really getting love. You're open to experience love and all that it is. Not everybody is capable of loving you, because some people are going to feel like you're too needy. Some people are going to feel like you need too much attention. But that is not the case. When you begin to deal with who you are and why you are the way that you are, you will see that you are scarred, in a sense. And all you want to do is you want your scars to heal. And what people don't understand is that you probably have emotional scars that they can't see. And it is not their fault. It is because we have learned to disguise them very well. And now it is time to remove the Band-Aid so that you can heal. Molestation was not your fault. Molestation is something that a lot of people don't talk about. It is something that a lot of people don't want to deal with. But the truth of the matter is, there are a lot of people walking around battered, and we have to figure out how to do it. So I've decided to tackle that situation, because in the last couple years, that is something that I had to face head on, and I'm okay with it, because now I'm in a better place, and now I just want to help people find the courage to heal. And molestation is where I decided to start. If you can please comment below. If you feel more comfortable emailing me, my email will be in the description box below, and we can go from there. But I am here to help you find the courage to heal. Thank you very much. Even if you haven't been molested, please like, share, subscribe, share this video, because although you may not know someone who's been molested, someone may know you that's been molested, and they're dying on the inside trying to find out where to start so that they can be who they want to be. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.